All right, so before exam day, you have to have the app downloaded. All right. In April, you will be able to download the new digital testing app to your desktop or laptop computers. You cannot put this app on an iPad or your phone. You cannot digitally take any AP exams on a tablet or a phone. You must do them on a laptop or a desktop computer. All right. So if you do not have access or reliable access to a computer, a laptop or a desktop, you need to get one. You can check one out from the district. They have devices that you can use, but you will not be able to test on anything besides a laptop or desktop. You cannot test on an iPad. You cannot test on any other kind of tablet or your phone. Okay. If you're on a school-managed Chromebook, someone from your school should have installed the app for you. If this is not the case, if the app is not on your computer, you might be able to download it yourself. So I would try to do that first. I'll show you, we'll go over how to do that today. If you cannot, then you need to call tech support and get them to push the app out to your computer. So there's that. All right. And so for downloading the digital testing app, when you go to the website, there's this screen. I'm going to drop the link to get to this download page in the chat. It is cb.org / AP 2021 exam app. All right. If you go to that website, you'll get to this download the digital testing app screen. Right? This should be done as soon as possible, so you have access to the things you need to have access to. Right? And then what you should do once the app is downloaded is log in. You'll need your College Board and username and password to use the app. If you check Remember Me, you won't need to log in each time you return. That can be kind of helpful. I do want to warn you, the app does not open very fast. I loaded it up on my computer so I could see what it is. And it usually takes like at least 5 minutes to get up and running. I don't know why it takes that long, but it doesn't just start right up. So keep that in mind on test days and things like that. Right. But yeah, and if you do not know your username and password, or you have forgotten your username and password for College Board, you need to notify your AP testing coordinator at your school site, which for Orange Glen is Miss Booth, and for, let's see if I can remember all these people. Who is it? I know I have emails. I think it's Miss Franey at San Pasquale. And as far as Escondido is concerned, I'm not entirely sure who their AP coordinator is because they haven't emailed me at all this semester. But I believe if you email Mr. Jacobs, he should be able to direct you to the correct person. Yeah, that's the best advice I have for that. So if you do not know your username and password, you need it. You will not be able to get into your digital testing at all without that. So if you've forgotten it and you need to reset it, or you need to know what it is, you need to contact the AP testing coordinator at your school site. And I can definitely help you with that if that's something you need help with. Right. 3 days before test day, you need to complete exam setup. Right, so 3 days before your test, within the app, you go to My Exams, and your active exams, the exams you're registered for, should show up there. Now, exams don't show up on your My Exams page until 5 days before the exam. So logging in right now, you probably won't see any exams in your My Exams tab because you're probably not 5 days out from any of your exams. Right, but once you're within 5 days, they should show up, and then at least 3 days before your test, you need to run through the exam setup. You'll confirm some information about yourself and your device. You need to complete exam setup for every digital AP exam you take. And it's critical that you complete this step before test day. Right? At the very least, you should complete exam setup 24 hours before your exam. 30 minutes before your exam, you got to check in. Right, 30 minutes before your exam's start time, you'll launch the app and check in for your exam. You'll review some privacy policies, type a security statement, and you have to type the statement. You cannot copy and paste it from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. It doesn't allow you to. You have to actually physically type it. And get ready to test. It's important that you check in on time. You won't be able to check in once your exam starts. Right? Don't show up late for your exam testing time. Right? Don't wake up late. If you've chosen to do your AP testing at a school site, you know, it'll still be done remotely, but you still need to make sure you get there on time before 30 minutes before your exam, right? So you can get set up, get into the app, and do this process. The exam starts when the exam starts. If you haven't finished check-in, you might be in a bad spot. Right? If you haven't done check-in at all, you won't be able to take the exam. Right? So being on time to your exam is being early. Lockdown mode. Right before the exam begins, the app will lock your device. You'll need to close all other applications before testing begins. Once it's in lockdown mode, you really cannot get out of it. It will lock that's the only thing you'll be able to see on your screen. I tested this out the other day with one of the practice exams that we can do, and I got stuck. I couldn't get into anything. Digital exams start automatically. If you finish check-in before your exam start time, you'll see a timer counting down. When time expires, the exam will start automatically. Testing toolbar, directions at the top left of every testing screen. You can access general exam directions as well as section-specific directions. All right. Also, though, keep in mind, these directions will pop up automatically when you start the exam, and your timer will start while you're reading these directions. So don't get caught up reading the directions for too long because you're eating into your exam time. If you need the directions, great. You should look through the directions because they'll be essentially the same directions from the practice exams that you'll have access to within the digital testing app, so that you're more well prepared for the actual exam day. Because you don't want to be stuck here reading this for 5 minutes, because now you've lost 5 minutes of exam time. All right, we also have a timer. During the exam, a timer will count down the time remaining for each section. It's going to be right up at the top of your screen. You can hide the timer, except during the last 5 minutes of a section. Once time expires on the last section of the exam, your answers will be submitted automatically, whether you're finished or not. Right. You can also annotate, which can be helpful with the amount of word problems that we do in stats. You can annotate, highlight or underline any passage or question that you might want to return to, or leave yourself a note to organize your thoughts. You don't have to type a note along with your highlighting or underlining, but it will pop up that little box and you would just say, save, and it'll show the highlighting. You don't have to type a note with it. You also get your reference sheet, all right? In most STEM courses, is you'll have access to a reference sheet with commonly used formulas. This is the formulas and tables pages that I keep linking to things that we've been doing recently. Essentially, you'll have that exact same set of formulas and tables. It'll just be a digital form. Right? If your AP exam requires or allows calculators, you must bring your own. Right? You will not be able to, while you're in the testing app, you won't be able to go to Desmos, right, to use the calculator. You need to use your own calculator. You should have that TA84 because that does a lot of different functionality for statistics. It makes things a little easier. If you do not have one of those, you should go to your school and check one out. Right? They should have a whole set for the school, like hundreds of these calculators that you're able to check out. You can also zoom and expand. You can zoom in and zoom out to get a closer look at any part of a question. You can find the zoom in out buttons under the More tab. You can also make one side of the screen bigger than the other with the expand left or expand right controls. Those are the ones right in the middle of the screen there. Right, on every screen, you have access to a help page where you can view frequently asked questions. Right, again, I would suggest going over this help information if you have any questions in the practice exams that we have access to in the digital testing app. Because again, when you're in the testing environment, your timer is going. Right, so anything you do, even if it's not pertaining to a specific question, eats into your time. Right, multiple choice questions, no going back. On multiple choice questions, you won't be able to move back and forth between questions or return to questions you've already answered. Right? However, remember, there is no penalty for guessing. Right? You will get this little message, you can't go back. Right? And you can choose to stay or go to the next question. Once you move on, you can't go back. There will be breaks between sections. Between sections, you'll have a break. The timer will let you know when the next section starts. Just like at the beginning of the exam, when the time expires, the exam will resume automatically. All right, on free response questions, you'll type directly into the app, and all your work will be saved automatically. Any special characters you need are available in the text editor. And so you'll have different math symbols and such that you can use. There are no files to upload, and you won't submit any handwritten work. All right, you will have scratch paper. You should have scratch paper, so you can do work on that scratch paper and then type things in. But you will not be able to upload images of your work. You're not going to be asked to draw a histogram or a dot plot or a box plot. You might need to draw those in your scratch paper to confirm normality or something like that. But you won't be able to submit any of that work to the free response questions. Again, there's no going back during free response questions. Once you move on from any free response question, you cannot go back to it. However, on free response questions that have more than one part, you can go back and forth between the parts until you're done working on the entire question. So if your free response question is, 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, there's 4 parts. You can move between those 4 parts until you're done with all of them. And once you move on from that 4th part to move to question 2, you will not be able to go back to question 1, any part of it. After your exam, we have answer submission. When testing time expires, the app will end the exam and your completed answers will be submitted automatically. Do not exit the app until you see a congratulations message confirming that we received your answers. So when you're on this screen, don't touch anything, just wait. Don't close your computer, don't try to move on to something else, just wait. When you see this screen, you're all set. It says congratulations, the exam is over and your answers have been uploaded. You can check aapstudents.org to see when your results will be posted. There's also a possibility if there is an intermittent internet access issue that your answer submission could be incomplete. If your internet connection drops at the end of the test, we'll show you some immediate steps that you'll take to complete your answer submission. If you run into an issue you can't recover from, you can go to MyAP to request a makeup. Right? So this means make sure you're somewhere that you have very reliable internet access on testing days. You do not want to be in a case where you do the entire exam and for some reason your answers will not submit because you have intermittent internet access and you have to request a makeup exam and do it all over again. That would not be fun. Right, next step. So in April, you'll be able to download the app and start practicing. Right, you'll need your College Board username and password to use the exam app, so make sure you have that info handy. Good luck on your 2021 digital AP exam. Right, so you should have access to 2 different types of practice exams. One is a little bit longer, one's a little bit shorter, but both of them will walk you through the like registration, that 3-day out process and the 30-minute before process, so you get to see what that is and how long it takes, and things like that. All right. So, are there any questions right now about any of this stuff? So the AP Stats exam will be on June 10th. It is an afternoon exam. Our exam time, I believe, is at noon, at 12. Let me look at something real quick to double check the exact time. One moment, please. Yeah. So yeah, the testing start time will be at 1 o'clock on June 10th. That is a Thursday. So essentially you want to be ready, right? 12:30 is when you need to start that 30-minute out process. So you should probably be wherever you need to be for testing by like 12:15. Okay. And I believe on my Canvas page, on the Canvas calendar that I have, I have that testing date in June already posted on there. If I can get it to pop up here, I'll show you guys. Show a couple things. Stop sharing. Stop presenting that. Yes. And we'll share that. So yeah, so in the calendar, and I know the calendar is like kind of wacky and oblong now. I have that the AP exam is on June 10th. I'll add the time to that after class. But it is the second exam that day. There's a morning exam and an afternoon exam on most testing days. Different content areas. So AP Stats is an afternoon exam. So that will be Thursday, June 10th. And the following week is the last week of school. So we essentially, yeah, there won't be a final for this class. The AP exam will be enough. You just need, for my class, as far as finals is concerned, you need to just have all of the assessments completed. Right? That's the idea for my class as far as that is concerned. So, boom. All right, so yeah, that's the exam, when the exam is. I'll type it in here too, just for good measure. All right, so there's that. So now I want to kind of show you guys the app, what it looks like once it's been downloaded and you've logged in for the first time. All right, so once you've logged in for the first time, when you say remember me, it'll pop up to a screen when you open the app, again after like 5 minutes or so once the app is done starting up. It'll ask, is that you? Please say yes. And yay, we'll continue. All right. Most of your screens will show similar to this where you don't have any active exams yet. All right. Once you're 5 days out from an exam, it will pop up here on your My Exams. And you can start the process of registering that exam and all that fun stuff, and like the 3-day out stuff and all that thing. Any past exams will show up here. Most of you guys won't have past exams in here until you take one. And then you have practice. You should have 2 options for practicing. You have the AP Stats Digital Practice and AP Stats App Demo Practice. All right. Both of these should be set to ready for exam setup. That is what you need to go through 3 days out from your exam. The difference between these 2 things is the length of the practice exam within them. The digital practice is more close to what you'll see on exam day. There's a section of multiple choice questions, and there's a section of 3 free response questions. I think there's like, I want to say like 10 multiple choice questions. This is essentially a very pared down version of the AP exam on the digital practice. It is not as long as the AP exam that you will take, but it's a good simulation. The app demo is, I think, 5 multiple choice and 1 free response question. Both of them have you go through the exam setup and the 30-minute out stuff and all that thing. All right. The other thing, this app can only, once you're logged in, you can only have this app on 1 device. All right, so make sure that the device that this app is on and you're logged into and registered on, that is the device you are going to be testing on all of your AP exams if you're taking more than 1. So make sure that the device that this app is on and that you're logged into and you're registering these exams on is the device you'll have access to. Once again, if you're not confident in your ability to have access to the device you're currently on, or if the device you're currently on cannot have the digital AP exam app on it, like maybe it's an iPad or a phone, you need to go to your school and check out a device so that you have a desktop or a laptop that you can take the exam on. Okay. Yeah, so let's see what this is. We'll go into the exam setup, right? I'm not going to take this all the way through to the actual like practice stuff because it'll lock down my browser and I won't be able to get back out, and that makes ending class a little difficult. I need this not to be there. Yeah, there we go. All right, so you have to accept your terms and conditions, just like pretty much everything else you do online. Confirm your personal information, first and last name. If you have any testing accommodations, like if you have like a an IEP or 504 plan or something like that that allows you to have testing accommodations, you should check with your case manager to see if any of those apply to AP testing. If you get extended time or anything like that on tests, make sure that you have the appropriate accommodations that you qualify for represented here. Make sure the information is correct. Click yes. Right. Review device requirements. So again, this is talking about a lot of things that I was just talking about. Your device must be a desktop or laptop, PC or Mac, doesn't matter, or school managed Chromebook. So again, if you have your own personal Chromebook, this is not going to work. Right? School managed, fine. Personal, no. As far as a Chromebook is concerned. Your device must be running Windows 8, Mac OS 10.11, Chrome OS 83 or later. Your device must be able to connect to the internet, and your device must have a power cord. You do not want your computer to die midway through the exam. All right, great, please complete exam setup. If you click no, it's going to tell you to go find another device. All right, we got to grant College Board the rights to use, reproduce, publish free response materials, educational research, blah, 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 right? You can choose not to grant them those rights if you like, and just click next. It's up to you whether or not you want to give them access to your stuff. Test day checklist, right? This device and its power cord. AP exams require a calculator. Make sure you have a calculator. If you're testing in person, you have to follow safety procedures. Students testing in school will be provided scratch paper and may not use their own. Students testing at home may use your own scratch paper. Prohibited notes, books, or any other reference materials, headphones or earbuds unless you have a College Board approved accommodation. Smartwatch, smartphone, or any other connected device, camera, recording device, or timer, multiple devices. You cannot run the exam app on more than one device. It just won't let you do it. Test day tips. You have to watch the video in order for next to become available. Right? It's a little bit annoying, but it runs you through all the stuff. So we'll watch a little video.
You're almost ready for your upcoming digital AP exam. In a minute, we'll finish configuring this device. Be sure to use this device on test day. And if you're taking more than one digital AP exam this year, you'll need to complete exam setup for each subject. Launch the app 30 minutes before your exam starts so we can check you in. You'll review some privacy policies, type a security statement, and get ready to test. If your exam requires a calculator, you will use your own. And if you're testing from home, you can bring scratch paper and a pencil or pen. Right before the exam starts, the app will lock your device and you won't be able to run any other applications. An internet connection is required to test, but the app will keep running even if your connection drops momentarily. Most AP exams are a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. To keep digital testing secure, you won't be able to move back and forth between questions or return to questions you've already answered. On multiple choice questions, your score is based on the number of questions you answer correctly. Remember, there's no penalty for guessing. On each question, you'll have access to a toolbar. You can annotate questions, zoom in and out, and on STEM exams, you'll have access to commonly used formulas. If you run into problems, click on Help. And between exam sections, you'll get a short break. On free response questions, you'll type directly into the app, and your work will be saved to your device automatically. Any special characters you need are part of the app. When the exam is over, your answers will be submitted automatically. If your device is offline, you'll have time to reconnect and submit your work. We're excited that you're taking a digital AP exam this year. Good luck!
Now we can click next. They also have the whole transcript here as well. All right. So now the exam has been downloaded. So we'll hit done here. We're updating. You're ready to practice. Right. Return to home page. All right. So now this says check in now. Right? This is obviously a simulation on test day, right? Or well, if you do this whole process 3 days out, it will not say check in now because it's not time to check in 3 days before the exam, right? You'll get the check in now option 30 minutes before the exam starts. So that's the like exam registration part, right? I'm not going to go into the check in now because it'll push me into the lockdown browser, and we don't want to do that today because I won't be able to get back out of it for a while. It takes at least, it's like 15 to 20 minutes that I get locked out, so I'm not going to do that. Is there any questions about the exam app? Right, so the other thing I would suggest is if you are running a school provided device, right, if that's what you're using right now, you should check to see if the app was already downloaded. If you're on one of the school Chromebooks, you should have a little search bar at the bottom left of your computer. If you type in 2021, what is it? Digital AP exams, that's the name of the application. See if it pops up. If it does not, I would then take the next step of downloading the app. Based on what I've seen so far, you should be able to download the app without any sort of like school administrator access kind of thing. It should just download the app. And that's with the link that I put in the chat earlier, gets you to that download page. Right. Is there any questions? Is there anything I can clarify about the whole kind of AP digital exam procedure? All right. So then the last thing I want to talk about today is the Chapter 10 module is like totally built out. The exams or the assessments are available, multiple choice and free response questions are both ready to go. You're free to start that whenever you like. The due date, like the pacing due date for that is next Friday, the 7th. Next week, what I believe we're going to do, I want to do a little bit more review just of things that we've covered so far this year in the course, and I want to do a practice AP exam. So using the digital testing environment, so I want you to have that downloaded and ready to go by next week, if at all possible. And if you cannot, if you're having issues with that, please make sure to communicate that to me so I can help you troubleshoot and help get the right people in communication with you so you can get it working. Right, and if you are not testing, if you're not taking any AP exams, you do not have a College Board account, right, then I'll have a alternate, practice exam for you to do on that day. All right. Are there any other questions, comments, concerns? Alrighty, then that's all that I have for today. Is a pretty short class for today. If anything else does come up, please let me know. And other than that, I will see you all next week. Have a great weekend.